Hi, so you could tell from the title this is going to be a kind of get ready with me and how a legally blind person puts on their makeup. So this is also going to be kind of chatty because the first time I did this was last week. I was going to have it uploaded by last week, but it didn't work out that way. When I looked at the footage, it was really dark because usually I do my makeup at my computer and the lighting looked fine, but when I put the video into the video editing software, the lighting was not okay. So I thought I would just do this all over again instead of trying to correct lighting and stuff. And it's better to be filming on my couch anyways because there's windows. Well, obviously you can't see them, but there's 3 big windows forming a kind of semicircle. So I have a lot of lighting that way. So this kind of going to be also a chatty, get to know me kind of video too. I feel like talking. That's why. Also, the first time I filmed this video, I wasn't talking because I wanted to do a voiceover, and I'm glad I didn't do any kind of talking because, well, it didn't work out that way. So, foundation. This foundation I found online because it's supposed to be better for acne prone skin, which you could probably see all of the discoloration and my acne currently showing because I have, well, hormonal acne. So I've been treating that lately, and so far so good. I'm getting it under control. And how I pick out my foundation is I always have someone come with me, and it's either my sister, one of them, or my boyfriend, partner. I like calling him my partner because I'm almost 30 and I don't like calling him my boyfriend because, well, I'm 30. Well, almost 30. So that's why I call him my partner. I'm going to interchange that, boyfriend, partner, so just so you know what I mean. So when I go to the store to pick out my foundation, I will tell him it's not supposed to match the same color as my face without makeup. It's supposed to match my neck and my chest area. So I'll put it on my neck and a little bit on my collarbone. And I tell him if it looks like I didn't put anything on, that's the perfect match. So he helped me pick this out. Dream Satin Liquid in the color 90. So he picked that out for me. Most of the time I'll just use my hands to put on my foundation, but I don't want to keep getting up and washing my hands, so I'm going to be using a brush today. It's one of those Real Techniques brushes, the angled kind of kabuki style brush. So I usually use 2 to 3 pumps for my whole face. And just blend that in. If you're new here, in a previous video I said I didn't know what was wrong with my contacts. I'm sure I mentioned it in my last video, but I guess the reason why I couldn't put in my contacts for the longest time is because I was having severe dry eye. And I guess what really helps with that is if you take fish oil pills. That will help moisturize your, keep moisture in your eyes. So when you wear your contacts, they don't dry out right away like mine were, like a severe dry eye. So that's what happened. So now I'm taking fish oil pills, the omega-3, with my multivitamin. I usually take those with my lunch, but if I forget about it, I'll usually have it with dinner. I'll just bring it down my chin, onto my neck, because I don't want that harsh kind of clown line, just in case it's not a perfect match. So you can't tell so much. So I am wearing my contacts today, so I can see a fair amount. I usually have a smaller mirror. I don't use, the only time I will use my phone to check if I did a good job on my eye makeup. Like, I'll take a picture and I'll zoom in to see if there's any black dots from mascara, or maybe I messed up my eyeliner. So I'll take a picture of my eyes and then I'll zoom in. That's worked for me so well. But if my partner's home and not at work, then I will just go into the next room or wander over here from the computer back there to the couch and bring a Q-tip to him and ask if he could look my eyeliner and mascara over, and kind of just take any kind of black dots off with that Q-tip. And if that mascara or eyeliner goes under my eye, then I will just go over it with my kabuki brush, or this smaller rounded brush that I have. I use occasionally, and I will show you that in a second. This other Real Techniques brush, this purple one, I got it in a set a long time ago, and these actually Real Techniques brushes have held up so well. So these are kind of my favorite, and they're really easy to wash, and they don't have that ferrule metal thing at the tip where the brush is, so it doesn't like fall off and then the bristles fall off with it. Since I can't really spot conceal because my eyesight, while it's good when I have my contacts in, it's not to the point where I could spot mild discoloration, like from hyperpigmentation, or maybe I have discoloration from an old acne scar or something like that. So usually when I zoom in and take a picture of myself, I'll go over with a little bit, not too much, but a little bit more foundation, just in certain areas, mostly at my cheeks or my jawline. I kind of over blend my foundation because I don't want any kind of streaks, which is also why I will tend to use my fingers. Like, I'll wash my hands and then use my fingers for my foundation, just to minimize any of the whole streaking thing with brushes. But so far that kabuki brush has been doing a really good job. And I just put my under eye concealer just under my eyes. I don't try to do anything fancy, like the whole highlighting a little bit on the forehead, down the nose, and on the chin, what have you, just because, well, that's a lot of product. And again, with this concealer, that's a Maybelline. It's a Maybelline concealer. My sister picked it out for me, and so far so good. Again, with my concealer, I overblend, and I will go over my eyelids just to camouflage any kind of discoloration there. When I put eyeshadow on or any concealer over my eyes to help with kind of like a base, I'm really careful to push on my eyelids because, well, I'm really careful with that because I don't want to move my contacts. If I move them even a little bit, it dries out my eye. Even with help from that omega-3 vitamin, it still dries out my eye. I cannot move my contact, which is why I have to be so careful when I do my eye makeup. It's a little frustrating at times, but most times I do a good job and I avoid moving that. So I have that going for me. And I will just go over with my kabuki brush or my fingertips if I'm using that for any kind of streaking. Streaking and generally blending out the rest of that makeup. Again, my partner's at work, so I'm gonna have to be careful with my blending. Let me just tell you real quick what this concealer is actually called. Better Skin Concealer. Yeah, Maybelline. Super Stay Better Skin Concealer. And oh, there's no way I'm gonna read that sticker. I don't know, it's a medium color. There's absolutely no way I could read that. Once I get down my base makeup, I'm so far pretty good. I haven't gone to this new place that I want to try to get my eyebrows down, so I don't have to do my eyebrows every time I do my makeup, because either make them too light or they look too dark, like I put Sharpie where my eyebrow is. It's not that expensive to go there, it's just trying to make an appointment and get to where my partner is off work. I ate before I started filming this video and made myself a cup of coffee so I didn't have to like feel like I had to rush through to eat or to get my coffee. Get to know me. I am currently 29 years old. I turned 29 in August. So when I say almost 30, like another year I'll be 30. The bronzer I use is Rimmel Natural Bronzer in Sundance. I like this bronzer, but this website, I checked it on to make sure there's no comedogenic ingredients. This one is at a 2. It was either a 2 or a 3. So I'm trying to get through this kind of quickly because I don't like just like throwing out makeup just because it has a kind of bad rating. But at the same time, I always wonder, like, is this causing more breakouts? Or is it just because I have like, I don't know, some kind of sensitivity to makeup or something like that. It might be because of the comedogenic stuff, because I noticed when I put makeup on, I don't get as much breakouts with my current foundation anymore, but I seem to get breakouts where I put this bronzer. So it's a little frustrating to have to want to get through something quickly, but you can't really. For my blind people out there, when I put bronzer on, it's I use that 3 method where along the hairline, just beneath the cheekbone area, down the jawline, underneath the jawline, and then I do that with the other side of my face. And again, I blend really well. I keep blending until I feel comfortable, or if I feel like I didn't do a really good job that day, I will take a picture, zoom in, and well, make sure that I feel like I did a good job. But if you are almost completely blind and you have someone in your life that you could either send the picture to or just ask the person nearby to check your makeup, then I suggest doing that. Again, that whole doing a 3 random hair sticking to my makeup. This always happens because I have kind of short hair that's also layered, so it kind of like gets scraggly and then ends up, especially at the sides of my face, scraggly, and then end up plasting itself against my face. I seen on Reddit that some guy in the blind subreddit, that someone didn't like the fact that they felt like they had to get specific food items, while they went out to dinner. I never felt self-conscious like that, where I thought someone I was with would think that I was stupid or an idiot, especially if they knew I was blind, because that's such an ignorant thing to think or to say, especially if you know that person's blind. But I get how someone would feel that way, especially if they were at a dinner or a business meeting with, well, a client. But in general, no, I don't feel self-conscious, and I just I don't feel self-conscious, and if something happens to fall on my shirt, I know that someone at the table will tell me, because, well, that's a polite thing to do, and if you don't do it, you're an asshole. I'm just saying. So the blush I'm using is another Maybelline product, the Fit Me Peach Blush, because, well, for my blind people listening to this video, I'm pretty tan, even though I pretty much stay indoors. I'm pretty tan, and so from what I remembered doing my makeup, when I was able to fully see, peach blushes look amazing on me. That terracotta orange or peach, it looks great. If I use pink, I look a little washed out, so I try to stay away from that, but if that's all I have, that's all I have. When I put on my blush, I will take a little bit of the Maybelline blush. If you're blind, put 2 fingers together, put them right against below your eye, but against your nose, 2 fingers away from your nose, your blush should go on the apples of your cheek to your hairline. Maybe a little bit where your temples are. The reason why you don't want to go closer than those 2 fingers is because what did that makeup artist say? It makes your face look like it's being dragged down, or it looks like a sunburn or something along those lines, that it doesn't look aesthetically pleasing. So use that 2-finger method of holding 2 fingers against your nose but below your eye, on the apples of your cheek, all the way to where your temples are. This is just a random little brush that I found at, I think it was Sally's Beauty Store. I live in Canada, so I'm pretty sure they have that in the States, because I've heard a few YouTubers who live in the States talk about Sally's Beauty Supply. Some of my brushes that I got from there have not held up and I've had to throw out. But that could have happened to any brush that has this kind of metal ferrule to it. Oh, so speaking of being tan, if you didn't know by now, which you probably didn't because I don't bring it up, because, well, why should I? I'm a person. This shouldn't be like the whole clickbaity thing and whatever. I don't like bringing up my ethnicity, or like, because people get weird about it. When I tell people my ethnicity, they look at me and they look puzzled, because I've had this happen to me twice. Wait. No, 3 times. I've had this happen to me 3 times throughout my life. I'm an Aboriginal woman, but if you looked at me, I look racially ambiguous. If you don't know what that means, it just means that I look like I could be from any race, any kind of race with a deeper skin tone. And I've had this happen to me 3 times throughout my life. Once when I moved from, oh sorry, reflective. When I moved from my reserve to the city, because my mom and dad wanted us to have a better education, that this Hispanic girl that I became friends with in art class had asked me, oh, so where are you from? And I looked at her and I was like, I'm from Canada. Like, I've lived here my entire life. And she asked me, no, like, I mean, yeah, you're here in Canada, but like from where in Mexico are you from? I can't remember what culture she said, because it was such a long time ago and I was like in grade 7 or 8, and I just looked at her, this kind of blank stare, and I kind of laughed because I thought it was funny, and I was like, no, I'm not Hispanic, I'm Aboriginal. And she's like, oh, okay. Oh, sorry, I'm using this fan brush from Real Techniques and this highlighter from Maybelline Master Chrome, and the color is 200 Molten Topaz. I put this right on the outer edge of my cheekbone, right at the top, and I keep it right there. I don't move it closer than the length of my fan. Like once the fan hits the top cheekbone, I don't move it like inward to where my nose is. I just keep it I live right next to the street, so you hear cars and whatever, that's why. I keep the highlighter right above my cheekbones, because if I just in that small area, when the fan touches my cheek, that's where it's going to stay, because I have a round face, and if I try to move it in closer to where my nose is, it looks like, I guess it looks like the highlighter got away from me. That's why I just keep it right at the cheekbones, close to the temple where the hairline is. Sometimes I'll take the highlighter right underneath where my eyebrow is, just to give my eyebrow a little bit of a pop and make my eyes look a little open. Oh, the second time that happened, same school, but this person was from Cambodia, and I was a deeper skin tone at that time, and she asked me what region I was from, and I was just like, I'm Aboriginal. I'm sorry if you thought that, but that's not my ethnicity. The third time that has happened was when I was in culinary and I was working in this kitchen, and one of the women who was working the dishwashing line had came up to me and started talking to me and she talked to me in English first, and then she tried talking to me. I think she tried to ask me to hand her something in Tagalog. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, so please don't come for me. It's a Filipino language, and I thought she was talking to my other coworker, because I know for a fact that she was Filipino, because she told me before that happened, and I just kept doing what I was doing, and she was like, hey, didn't you hear me? I asked you to bring whatever. And I just kind of turned around to her, looked at her, and I was like, no, sorry. No, I didn't hear you, I'm sorry. And she looked surprised, and she's like, what? Aren't you Filipino? And I kind of looked at her like kind of bug-eyed, and it was like, kind of like that deer in the headlights, because I didn't know how to react. And I told her, no, I'm Aboriginal. And she looked shook. She kind of looked a little suspicious, like I was kidding with her. And she's like, no, you're like us, like, stop joking around. I think I know what my ethnicity is, because this is who I've been since I was born. And she's kind of like, she's kind of taken back, and was started talking to my coworker in their language, and she was like, no, I guess she said, no, she is who she says she is. She just kind of looks like us, and so that's why I look racially ambiguous, but trust me, I am an Aboriginal person. I'm an Aboriginal woman. I have my little status card to prove it. I'm not gonna show you that though, because, well, I'm not the greatest at editing, and I can't cover up all that information. You're just gonna have to take my word for it anyways. I take a big fluffy brush over where my bronzer blush and highlight was, just to blend it out and soften any of the edges. There's nothing on this brush, it's just a clean fluffy brush. So if I messed up with, I guess, too much product, I could soften the edges, so I don't have to do a lot of work when I take a picture and I zoom in and look everything over. But that was a funny experience. She was just convinced I was lying to her about my ethnicity, and I was really amused by why she thought that, because like, who would lie about their race to a relatively complete stranger? Who would do that? But then you have some people like I can't remember that woman. She was saying she was black, but turns out she was not black. She was white. And so that's probably why she... Actually, no, that can't be why she was suspect about why I was lying to her, because that didn't come out until recently. And my coworker asking if I was Filipino didn't happened about 5 years ago, so I don't know. It's like, who's lying to you? Okay, so before I do my eyeshadow, my mascara and all that, I will, once I do my face, I'll do my eyebrows. Just so if I have any eyebrow powder on my eyelids, it won't be super noticeable. And I always tap off the excess before I go over it. But this is also why I need to get my eyebrows done and have them dyed a darker color, so I don't have to do it myself and feel like I put caterpillar eyebrows on. Oh, the brush I'm using is it's angled on one end and the other end has a spoolie. I also have a spare spoolie standing by. Usually I use that for my eyelashes when I put mascara on, just so they're separated. But once in a while, if I somehow lose my little eyebrow brush here, I'll just reach for it and it's like, it's already dry, so I might as well use it on my eyebrows. I try to put most of the product at the tail end of my eyebrow because, well, there's less hair there, so you especially on camera, I want you to be able to see all of my eyebrow instead of thinking that I shaved them off. You remember that look in I think it was early 2000s, where people shaved their eyebrows and then filled them in with pencil? For my sighted people out there, I'm pretty sure if you're blind, maybe someone mentioned it to you in passing. Was not a good look. Oh, also running a spoolie through your eyebrow also softens up the product that I just put in it, so it doesn't look like a bunch of eyebrow strokes. Does that make sense? I need a more magnified mirror than just this blush mirror that I've been using. Okay, so eyeshadow. Oh, that brush, that angled brush with the spoolie, it's from e.l.f. and I can tell it's my eyebrow brush because, well, it's not only double-ended, but the handle is triangular, so it has 3 distinct sides to it and it's not just round, which is really helpful because I have this other smaller brush that I help to blend out my eyeliner, which is also from Real Techniques. I think it's called their detail brush, but I use it just to smudge out my eyeliner so it looks smoother instead of crappy looking. So most of the time I will use one eyeshadow, and maybe I'll use my bronzer or this palette I got a long time ago. Not a long time ago. 2 years ago. I got about 2 years ago from a friend who sold it to me because, well, it was still in the package and wasn't used. From Dior. It's this tiny palette and it has all the colors that I basically use and need. I'm gonna use this nice pink shade. Hold on, let me tell you what this palette's called. It's their 5 Contours palette in the color 647 Undress. I'm gonna use this kind of pink color. It's almost champagne, but who knows, because I have no filters in my eyes. So I literally can't see color the same way other people can. Even though I have my contacts in, it's not a substitute for having actual lenses in your eyes, like for cataract surgery or the ones you're born with. So when I see color, like say you look at fuchsia, for my sighted people out there, say you look at fuchsia and you see like the pink with purple hue to it, but when I look at it, it looks like hot pink. That's all the color is to me. It's hot pink. So when I say I don't have filters in my eyes and colors don't look the same to me, that's literally the reason why. So again, when I put my eyeshadow on my eye, I'm gentle and I'm careful not to move my contact that I'm wearing, and I bring that base shadow all the way up to my eyebrow. And then I will do that with my other eye. I've been watching a lot of videos on YouTube, not just of my favorite YouTubers like Kenny JD, Nikki Diaz, Darcy, but also like spiritual stuff. People don't know this because I don't really talk about it, that I'm a spiritual person, because I don't believe in forcing my beliefs onto other people. I just don't, because, well, with the history of Aboriginal people and the forcing your beliefs onto us resulted in so much trauma that I don't believe in forcing my beliefs onto other people. But when people find out that I'm a spiritual person and I believe in certain things, that they kind of look at me sideways, and they look at me sideways and a little shocked, because when you know me, I'm a really rational person. You can tell that from my other videos where I'm just like, especially my story times, where I'm just like, that guy's old. He's a pedophile. What are you doing? You know? So there's something wrong with him, kind of thing. So I'm a really rational person. So when people meet me and find out that I'm also spiritual, that it kind of blows their mind because because they expect me to be either really, really scientific or really, really spiritual. But I like to balance it out because I don't want to end up floating away in spirituality or being too hardened with science or scientific facts. Does that make sense? Does that make sense at all? It makes sense to me where I want to balance it out with my spirituality and hard science. But genuinely, people don't get that. And when you tell them that, they're like, no, you're either scientific or you're spiritual. You can't be both. And I'm just like, man, some things can be explained away with science or rational thinking. And then there are times where you just can't explain all of that with scientific facts and rational thinking. So why are you freaking out, you know? It's like, I'm not forcing my beliefs onto you. I'm just explaining how I think or how I feel, and you act like I'm attacking you. Like, chill. So usually when I contour my eyes, just to add more depth, I will use the two bottom shades at the bottom of this palette, this light brown and this dark brown, because if I use only the dark brown or only the light brown, it doesn't really show up, and it doesn't really show up on camera either. So I'll mix the two. Just pat pat and then pat pat in the other one. This is a Real Techniques brush. It's I think it's a blending brush. It's pretty flexible and slightly round. I've been using it as a blending brush anyways. I put it in the socket of my eye. I windshield wash it back and forth from the outer corner of my eye to the inside, back and forth. Careful not to push too hard on my eyelid again, because I don't want to move my contact. And honestly, if I move my contact, I have to take it out and then put it back in, and then you know what, I ruined my eye makeup. So I try my damnedest not to move it. It doesn't always work out, but majority of the time it does. Again, I go in with the eyeshadow, I dip it in, tap off excess, go in the socket, windshield wash it back and forth. Oh, that's another thing. When people find out that you also have kind of spiritual beliefs, automatically think you're an idiot. I'm just, that's another thing, and I'm just, you're a fucking asshole. That's all I can think. I'll go in with my eyeshadow brush, the one I used for my lid, just over it a little bit because, well, those shadows are pretty dark and I don't want to leave a harsh line, and I don't have a big fluffy eyeshadow brush that I could just use it to blend out eyeshadow. I need to buy one. MAC's usually good with that. Actually, hold on. Real Techniques coming through again. They're this big round egg shaped looking brush is meant to be for a highlight, but I find it's too rounded for control that I need, especially for my round face. So let's just give it a shot and go over that dark eyeshadow with this big round fluffy brush. Hey, look at it, did its job. At least it looks like it did its job. I'm gonna have to take a picture and make sure it did. If it initially looks too dark, I will go over with, or too muddied, I'll go over my eyelid with that flat shader brush in the eyelid color, just so I have more definition. And eyeliner. Oh, this is fun because this is also when I that was sarcasm, sorry, it sounded like I was being serious. This is the Rimmel I think it's extravagant eyes. I guess what I'm trying to say is people are complicated. You can't just think one thing about one person. You don't have to have one solid belief. Okay, it's Rimmel Exaggerate, and the color black. It's a retractable pencil, so I don't have to mess with sharpening it. You can't put people in boxes, that's not good. Okay, usually when I do my eyeliner, it either goes really well or it's a total fail. I put too much on, it ends up smudging underneath my eyes, and I look like a panda for the rest of the day. Or I end up moving my contacts and end up with dry eye. I have to remove my contacts and put my glasses on. And I did all this, basically nothing, for nothing. You know, I could see a little. When I put this on my lash line, I will hold the corner of my eye where my eye socket is. I'll hold it not tight, but in place, so my eyelid doesn't like kind of move. So there's less of a chance of my contact moving, if that also makes sense. So I made sure that the retractable eyeliner was out. So I'll look down. I'll try to start at the middle or the corner of my eye. Lightly drag it. Lightly drag it along the lash line. Because this is pigmented and it is creamy, I don't need a lot, as I learned from the months of using this. Oh, I was watching the entire timeline of Sailor Moon. When I was a kid, that was my jam. I loved watching Sailor Moon. That was like my thing. I even had a sweater because that's how much I loved it. So I take this small detail brush. I recently cleaned all my brushes specifically for this video. So I'll take the small detail brush and I'll go over that eyeliner and smudge it so it doesn't look choppy or yeah, so it doesn't look choppy and it's more smooth. I'll go over both eyes like that. Hopefully my eyeliner's not that bad. I won't actually know until I take a picture. Mascara. I keep Molly Burke came up with this really good idea that during Christmas, go to Sephora and buy that pack of sample mascaras that they have at Christmas time and use that throughout the year because the brush is really short and easier to handle, especially if you're blind. I never thought of that until she mentioned it and I was like, you're genius, oh my god. But because I could see a fair amount and I could see this kind of relatively black blurry line that I don't have that much of an issue, but whoever is watching this and curious that of an easier way to use mascara, that's a good idea. Use sample mascaras from Sephora because usually their mascaras are pretty good. Usually, not all the time. This mascara I'm using is Lash Paradise because I've seen some YouTubers use it and their lashes looked a lot thicker after one coat. Not just thicker, but longer. So the Lash Paradise in waterproof, the color black, is my favorite. Because it's cheaper than the other mascara that these beauty gurus were talking about, which was this kind of lash shock, something like that. But it was like a $60 mascara and it's like, I am not shelling out $60 for some mascara that's going to expire in 3 months. Are you insane? So this L'Oreal Lash Paradise does the same thing at a cheaper price. So I'm not much of a brand person. I'm more of a, if it works, it works. If it's just as good as the expensive one, why bother, you know? I go over my lashes a second time. You know, something that I really wanted to learn, and hopefully I could learn soon, is how to put fake lashes on. So I don't have to do eyeliner or mascara and I could just pop on some fake lashes. I'm not going to attempt to do my lower lashes because, well, my partner's not here, so he's not gonna, and I don't want to mess around with the camera so often to get my makeup super perfect. I might do a hair tutorial after this because most times I will do my hair before I film too, and I use a set of hair rollers. Did you know? No, of course, maybe you don't know. When I was in culinary and I was able to see perfectly, when I was in school, I was at the top of my class. Like the first semester I was in top 10. By the second, top 5, and then quickly moved to top 3. Me and this guy would always kind of like duke it out of who is gonna be second place, because this girl was so good. Not only was she so good at cooking, but also her grades were pretty damn near perfect, that that we were both like, there's no way that we're going to bump her out of first place. So it was pretty much just me and him competing for second. Pretty much showed how passionate I was during that time when I was looking for a job, because when I was looking for my practicum, because I was actually offered several jobs before I was even graduated. So I think that shows a lot of my work ethic. I think I'll film how I do my hair. I just need to figure out how I'm going to plug it into the wall, because the wall is pretty far from the couch and there's no other outlet other than the one that's on the side. Usually I did my hair next to the wall where the outlet is, because we had another desk there, but that desk fell apart. We took it away, got rid of it, and so now so now there's like nothing there but that random computer chair we had for it. And maybe I'll figure something out. Maybe it's obviously gonna be its own separate video, because this video is long enough. And oh shit, lipstick, hold on, lipstick. I got this cute little baby sample when I bought some stuff from Shoppers Drug Mart, and it's a kind of pink, a deeper pink, almost raspberry color. I traced the lips that I traced the lines of my lips, and kind of pierce them together. Does that make sense? I will grab a tissue and blot, and then go over it again with my lipstick. And because I will blot lightly again and go over it with my how can I say this? And draw, and make sure that there's no excess lipstick over the lines of my lips with my fingertips. And just rub it on a new Kleenex, since this other one has a bunch of lipstick on it. And that's pretty much about it. I guess I'll film a separate video. This is already gonna be so long. And so now you know a little bit more about me and know how I put on my makeup. I think I'll film another video some point of how I put my contacts in. Not because I'm running out of content or things to talk about, just because the contacts I use are not the soft gel ones that everyone who has contacts uses. I have the hard silicone contacts. You can't bend them, otherwise you're gonna, I don't know, ruin them. I've never tried because like I'm scared of ruining them. It was $600 per eye, so I'm not about to ruin these hard contacts, okay? So I'll probably show that at some point, maybe later on this month or sometime in the future. I'm trying to get up this, I'm trying to record and upload this short story I wrote, and the short story and the second parter for Life is Strange, and I want to record a scary story time for Halloween. I might do that after I do my hair and makeup, so if I look like a cartoon character for my sighted people where I just don't change my clothes, that's probably why. Okay, so sorry my hair looks like trash, but look out for the new video for how I do my hair. And I will, oh, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. I have Twitter and Instagram. I figured out, I took my phone to Apple and they sorted everything out, so now I can get into my Instagram and take pictures and all this other stuff. So follow me on there. It's Shay Heart 8, the number 8, both Instagram and Twitter. Those are my Twitter handles. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.